Hey, everybody, we are back with another episode of the Wisconsin Investor Podcast. And for those of you guys watching on YouTube, you'll notice the background's a little different for me today. My internet went out today as Ryan and I, my guests, were about to start recording. So I had to drive and find some data. So if this one's a little choppy or the audio is a little off, give us a little grace today. We're doing the best we can. But I have an amazing guest. He's taking some time out today, who I'll introduce in a second, to drop some knowledge bombs on you guys and share a pretty incredible story with you guys of his success so far. And so I don't want you to miss that. And I wanted to get him in here because I know his time is valuable. Before we do that, though, I want to talk about the sponsor, as I always do. Wisconsin Discount Properties. At Wisconsin Discount Properties, we're dropping off-market deals in your inbox every single week at 6 a.m. So if you're not on the buyer's list, you can get on the buyer's list by going to wisconsindiscountproperties.com. You just plug your information in on the homepage and you get added to the buyer's list like that. And then what we're also doing now, I've mentioned this on the last few episodes, but we are offering our Burr for Beginners course for free. So we used to charge $3,000 back in the day for this thing. And we were doing some one-on-one coaching with it. So that's why the price was up there. But now we sell it for $1,900 without the one-on-one coaching, and we're giving it away for free. So if you want to get that course, join the buyer's list, and Connor or Reese from my team will be in touch with you and talk about your goals and what you're trying to accomplish and tell you a little bit about how our process works. But then also, if you're interested in that Burr for Beginners course, they'll get you the code to get you free access to that. With that, let's get into today's episode. So I just got introduced to Mr. Ryan Gray, who's here with me today, and he is killing it out in Eau Claire. Go Blue Golds. That's where I did my college days. And so I'm excited to have Ryan on the show. Ryan, how you doing today, man?
Doing good, dude. Yeah, doing good.
Good. Well, I'm glad we got to connect. A mutual contact of ours reached out and said, "Hey, man, you should have this Ryan guy on the show. He's killing it out in Eau Claire, and he's doing some amazing things." So, Ryan, tell everybody a little bit about the current state, kind of you and I were talking just before we hit record, and what you
Yeah.
got going on as far as units and what you guys are into as far as doing a little bit of wholesale and that kind of thing. Just fill everybody in a little bit on your background and what you
Yep.
got going on.
Yeah. So I own a couple different businesses, but my first business, Stable Living, which is my primary time spent still. It's assisted living business. We have 15 group homes in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, as well as 2 in Superior, as well as we do in-home care. So that's kind of like how my business journey started with
Nice.
assisted living. Right now, we also have 700 units of mostly multifamily real estate in Eau Claire and like surrounding our have some partners, don't do syndication, but do have some 50-50 partners in those, as well as we have a 715 home buyers, which we buy and flip houses, as well as wholesale a little bit in Eau Claire. Also involved in some adjacent businesses as well, but for the most part, multifamily and assisted living. So
That's awesome, man. Yeah, so you're into quite a few things, man, and you grew pretty quick. So tell everybody, like, when did you start the assisted living business, and then when did you kind of transition over into more of the multifam 715 home buyers thing?
Yep. So yeah, 2016-ish, 2017, I was actually working in a group home while I was going to college at UW-Eau Claire.
Go
Um,
Blue Goats.
on tutor, and we started the assisted living company 2016, 2017, had a bad boss. I was working in a group home and decided if he can do it, I can do it. And that's basically kind of how it happened. I ended up getting terminated, opened that business. Um, Started doing that for a few years, actually out of a college house that we were renting. Ended up getting licensed by the state Department of Health. So started doing that. That's how the business journey started. And then I actually got asked to go to Wisco REIA, which is a real estate group in Eau Claire,
Yeah,
by Dan Gearseth, and went to that the first time, 2019, 2018. Walked out of that meeting like, whoa, like, holy man, this sounds awesome. Started taking action, I would say, like immediately right after that meeting, started sending letters and trying to find off market property, which at the time I didn't know what the heck I was really doing. I think I
yeah,
had 3 houses. And basically just jumped right into it, started kind of wholesaling and flipping, and then started getting into creative finance and buying multifamily around 2019, and really grew really fast. And I think a lot of that was attributed to kind of having that first 4 or 5 years of assisted living, getting my feet wet with business.
hmm
But yeah, so that's kind of how I went from assisted living to real estate. We have like 100 employees right now in stable living. So I think a lot of that learning
wow,
that's translated to the fast growth on the real estate side. But
Holy cow, dude. That's so
yeah,
crazy, dude. I mean, the amount of growth you went from 2019 to now just in the real estate sector is incredible, but then they have 100 employees too. I mean, we've got about 15 or so in our office, and I mean, it's a lot to manage 15
oh yeah,
15 people, and I'm sure you build people up to manage the people and all that kind of stuff, but that's still
yep.
a big responsibility.
Yeah, I always say the hardest thing in business is employees and just learning how to handle all that. And to be honest, I'm still learning day to day. But
Yeah.
yeah, so right now I kind of spend like 20, 25 hours in that business, not really growing it super hard, but just trying to
Okay.
optimize it and make it the best we can. So yeah,
Yeah. There's so many nuggets though in your story, your brief story there. So, audience, if you just heard Ryan just talk about some of that stuff, go back and play that sector of after I asked him how did he get started in this until just now, because there's so many things in there. Number one, Ryan, I'm guessing when you started after that Wisco REIA, you probably didn't go out and first create a website, get some business cards, set up your LLC, or do any of that stuff, right? I'm guessing you just went out. You said you started sending letters and started taking action, right?
yeah, I would say that's like the biggest thing in business. My part is a lot of people sit there and try to figure every nitty gritty thing out. And I would say the
Mhm.
biggest thing that I found success in is just going and taking action. I would say my business partner this time, Sean, was kind of the behind the scenes and trying to make sure everything, was the boxes were checked. But I was always like,
Yeah.
gotta go. Like this makes sense. Let's just take action and it worked. I think
Yeah.
10 or 11 deals in 6 months off having no clue what we were doing. So
Oh my gosh, dude.
yeah, it was crazy. So
No scripts, no coaching, nothing. Just get after it and learn on the fly.
yeah, which I attribute a lot of that to Wisco REIA. I don't know if you guys have one down by
We
where you,
do.
but I mean, yeah, they've done it, so you can do it too, in my opinion.
100%. I think that it was another nugget. I'm glad you went back to that, Ryan. I wanted to talk about was the networking opportunities. I think on every episode, I talk about how important it is to get out to networking things, especially if you're just trying to get started. We run one in Green Bay called the REI Success Club. It's a little different format than a RIA, but same idea, right? It's all about building your network, seeing other people who are doing it, learning best practices, getting contacts, getting connections, all that kind of thing. And that happens. We have a Wisco REIA in Green Bay. We've got one in Appleton. I think there's another Wisco REIA in Wausau, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah.
I think there's one down in Milwaukee now.
Milwaukee
Um,
and yeah, Eau Claire. I don't know. There's like 7, 8, 9, 10 of them now. So
yeah, it's gross. So, I mean, the opportunities to network are there,
yeah,
right? And it's just getting out there. There's another group that started over by us. I don't know if there's one out by you guys yet, but it's called Caffeine and Cash Flow.
yeah,
A guy who actually used to work for us, Zach, started that. And
yeah,
it's an opportunity for people who can't get out at night. Like I think he started it because he's got young kids and didn't want to be out at networking events at night. So he started it for during the daytime.
yeah.
So another opportunity is to get out and build your network. But what were some of the biggest takeaways for you? You said that first meeting you came out of there. Was it just the belief and seeing other people do it? Was it the big vision? Was it tactics? Like what were the things if you can remember back to that?
I would say honestly, it was more the tactic side of it because I think a lot of people like they want to get into real estate, but they generally don't know how. And to me,
Mhm.
like Whiskeria, like I don't know, at the beginning at least, like they break it down very dumb and it's very easy. And it's just like, if you send a letter and you find a property that's under, 70% of market value and you buy it, you can do this with it. Now you have money.
Mhm.
It's very
Yeah.
simple. But I mean, I would say there's a million different things on why I continue to go. I think the network is huge. At the beginning,
Mhm.
I think you can learn from people. And I had a mentor, Josh and Audrey Borcherding, that taught me a lot.
Oh yeah. I know Josh.
Yeah, so like those guys have taught me a lot and just meeting people. But I think like the network now, like I probably work with every single person in that room on something.
Wow.
Like
That's amazing, dude.
partner on deals. They send us deals with referral fees, their contractor help, all kinds of different things. So,
Sure.
you know, but yeah.
Yeah. And what it sounds like, Ryan, it sounds like you're intentional when you go to these things. Cause I know that this is another important part. It's one thing to show up, and that takes a lot of balls for some people. That's just outside of a lot of people's comfort zone, is to get in a room with a bunch of people you don't know who already know each other. And it can be a little intimidating, right? It's another thing though, to go into these rooms and just say, I need to be intentional and I need to meet this person, this person, this person. And that you might not know their name yet, but you know
Yeah.
what type of person you need to get it going. Or you might be somebody who's like, I don't know what I need yet. I'm going to show up, but I'm going to meet everybody in this room I can and try to at least make a connection here before I leave that
Yeah.
could be beneficial, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, my thing now when I walk in that room is I just try to like build people up and like get them to grow, because usually if they're growing, they have a relationship with me and they're going to help me with something later down the road. So I think,
For sure.
I'm get their first duplex. Maybe I don't make any money on that transaction, have no involvement, but they remember that. And then when there's something that I want or they know that I want it, they call me. And like I would say,
Hmm.
on that end, it's super valuable for me as well as for them. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I wouldn't say I'm super, super intentional on there, but I mean, as long as you build people up, I think it comes back to you, to be honest. But
Yeah. Well, you're not just sitting in the back of the room is my point, and just just
no,
sipping on a cocktail, not talking to anybody.
no,
You're,
yeah, yeah, no,
yeah,
for
yeah.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah, and I think that's such an important point. Talk about the multifamily transition. So it sounded like you started out like flipping and wholesaling. When did the multifamily transition happen, and how did that go down?
Yeah, like I would say it was like 2020, 2021, probably like right post COVID. I mean, I had a triplex and like a couple deals, but I think creative finance kind of changed my life. Started listening to like Pace Morby and those people on YouTube. And I made good money at the time, but like 20% down. If you do 20% down on every deal, it's very hard to grow, no matter how much money you're making. Even if you're making, a few six figures a year, very, very, very difficult.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was off market sending stuff to find bigger deals and just kind of looking at them, but I was always like, how do I do this? But the first big deal that changed my life, it was a 40 unit, kind of like yours from the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Undervalued. It was around 50K unit, a little bit less. And I walked like, I could come up with 20% barely, like, but I would be stretching myself so thin. And I remember kind of walking out of the deal, like, kind of frustrated. And I was talking to the seller, and what did they say? They're just like, well, like we probably could carry some money back. And I was like, huh. I'm like, what does that mean? And I ended up stuff up, and basically the seller ended up carrying back like 30% or 40% of the purchase price. And I bought it for 2 million and it appraised for 3. So I ended up coming into that deal with no money down. I think I even got a check at closing, and I was like, poof. I was like, if I can find good deals, I don't necessarily need 20% down, but two, I think a lot of big commercial sellers they're more open to do creative finance or do creative things than smaller.
Hmm.
The single home person or a duplex owner, like they want their money now. They have one or two,
Hmm.
they want to cash out for retirement. But like when somebody has a 40 unit, if they get 1.4 million right now and 600,000 over 5-10 years, like that doesn't, it's not a big deal. So
Yeah.
that changed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I love that you're talking about that, and that's such a great point. So Ryan and I were talking before we hit record today, and I was telling him about a 40 unit that I sold in Fond du Lac, and I thought I had a deal of a lifetime when I bought it. Turns out there's an elevator in there that went to kaput, and it was the only elevator that was still functional, and so I had to replace it, and it was like over 300 grand to replace this elevator. But to that point, I ended up selling it, and I sold it to another investor in my network, guy I'd done several deals with, and did it all, no brokers, nothing else. And I ended up carrying back 300 grand on
Yeah.
that deal. And so for me, the benefit was I got to offset some taxes, so it didn't bump my tax bracket up very much, and I got a check, so it was kind of like I still had the property in a sense, right? But now I didn't have to deal with the tenants, and I didn't have to deal with this stuff. I get my check every month. He still pays me to this day. I still get my check every month, and it's great. And I never have to hunt him down. I don't have to think about it. And if he stops paying me, I get the property back, and it's a great thing. So it worked out great for me. And we've done several deals on the opposite side as the buyers, right? Where you're doing that too. One of the issues we run into, Ryan, with this, maybe you can talk about this, is some lenders they want you to have skin in the game, right? They don't want you to get these free lunches, so to speak. So how are you navigating that with some of the lenders out there? Like, what's that conversation like? Is that just a
Yeah.
relationship that you have, or how's that worked out for you?
Yeah, I would say 90% of the time they do want to see some skin in the game. So a lot of the times I'm coming with 3-5% down still. I would say that was an anomaly, and that doesn't happen very often. Not saying it can't, but I would say having good community lenders is huge.
Hmm.
Lenders that'll probably do things that most people couldn't get just due to the relationship, how long we've been doing it. But for the most part, I would say they do want skin in the game. I think if you can get that second mortgage, a lot more than just the down payment, like 40%, 50%. To them, it's like, okay, as long as it hits debt service coverage ratio, like they're happy, So
Mhm.
it's still possible, but it is difficult. Most of them want to see something,
Yeah.
at least in my experience. But so,
Yeah. No, that's a great point that you brought up with the higher equity. We did one in here. I live in Door County, and we did one on a single family house, and the seller had it as an Airbnb, and he just didn't want to have to manage it anymore. He was self-managing it and all that stuff. And his biggest thing was selling it was he didn't want to have to clean out the property and get rid of the stuff.
yeah,
And he just wanted his mortgage paid off, and he owed like 230 grand on his mortgage. And
yep,
so he didn't really need the cash or whatever. And so we structured it. We gave him 550 for the house, and we got it so he would take a second lien on it. And we got a bank to fund. I think they funded the whole mortgage plus all of our furniture and everything else. So we got into this deal with no money out of pocket, probably 100 grand of equity.
yeah,
And now I pay him every month. He loves it because he gets his monthly check and same
yep,
kind of thing. But on that one, the bank was like, yeah, we'll do that deal all day long because they were like under 50%, LTV on it. So
yeah.
it was good for him. But
I always tell people too, like, don't get stuck on like one or two banks. Like you're gonna have to go around and meet people and make those relationships because, like, yeah, sometimes they're not gonna fit the box or what you need. So just keep looking. But
yeah. And their appetite changes too. That's another thing to your point, Ryan, that we talk about over here is, one year I'll have one bank who's great. They're very aggressive. They really want real estate in their portfolio. And then that silo sort of gets full for them. And they're like, okay, now we got to diversify a little bit. We need more manufacturing or industrial or something else in their loan packages that they want to fill their other silos up with. And so they'll get less aggressive on real estate. They're less willing to do some really creative things. They're less willing to be aggressive on rates and terms and things like that. And so we preach the same thing. In fact, in the Burr for Beginners course that I was talking about at the start of this, that's one of the main things that we talk about. They got to go out and do is build relationships with a bunch of community banks, and then you're just
yeah,
shopping the banks, and they get it. They understand it's a business. You're going to go with whoever is going to give you the best deal for that deal, and they're not
yeah,
going to hold that against you on the next one. So
correct. Yep.
yeah. Yeah. So what are some of the other things? How are you guys getting these deals? So you mentioned now you guys have like 700 plus units in the multifamily stuff. Like what's the acquisition strategy for you guys? Is it still sending letters, or how are you guys going about
Yeah,
finding these deals?
we do a lot of different things. So I guess the other business is kind of fresh, but we've been doing it for a while. 715 Home Buyers, which is kind of like our lead acquisition business plus flipping business. But I mean, we do all kinds of stuff. I think letters is one of the biggest ones we still do. But to be honest, I would say most of our leads now come from relationships, realtors, brokers, people from Wisco REIA. A weird thing that we do, which I don't think anybody or not a lot of people are doing, is like we'll partner on a deal with somebody that we've never met before. That might not be,
Mm,
we're both like on the deed of the property together, but if we buy it, we'll run the deal and walk them through the entire process and then split the proceeds at the end, based on how good the deal is, sometimes even up to 50-50.
wow.
So we've had a lot of people bring deals in that scenario. And I would say the reason we do that is me and Brandon that own that business, like we don't operate day to day. We have an operator. So like as long as we pay for them and pay for everything and pay for the contractors and we split it, well, that's still money that we never would have seen if they wouldn't have brought the deal. So
That's such a great way to look at it.
yeah, so like that's something we do that's weird. But I mean, we do all the same stuff, put stuff in the yards in front of our properties saying we're looking for more, messaging for rent ads that are really, nasty property. Um,
Yeah.
so I know all the off market stuff that you can do, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I know we're doing Facebook ads and stuff right now, and we're not doing the best with it, but we always try something new all the time. So yeah,
Yeah, for sure. We ran into that too. We're doing some PPC stuff and some
yeah,
SEO and other social media ads. We found the social media stuff does tough in this industry for some reason. I mean, some guys I know that are doing really well. That's like their main strategy. We just haven't cracked the code or maybe
yeah,
put enough content out or whatever that's speaking to the sellers per se. It helps with
yeah,
dispositions on the buyer side. We put a lot of content out to educate
yeah.
investors and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to sellers, we just haven't cracked the code on the Facebook social media thing yet.
How about PPC? How was that one for you? Yeah, we've
It's
never.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty good. We use an outside service. They're pretty expensive. I think we pay them like 2,000 a month just for managing the PPC.
Yeah.
Um, and then we spend about I think like 10 grand a month on PPC ads, the actual ad spend. So it's a pretty hefty. I mean, we're paying 20% management fee
Yeah.
basically on this stuff, but it brings, as long as the ROI is there,
Yeah. It's
that's,
worth.
that's the, that's it. The biggest issue we have with PPC, we also do TV ads, and then direct mail. And those are our three main marketing channels. And if our team, they're doing a great job now, but if they don't ask the lead where did they hear about us,
Yes.
it comes in PPC, quote unquote, in our system into
Yeah.
Salesforce. But if they don't ask, we can't attribute it. Oh, I saw you on TV and then I Googled you. Well, we got to give TV some credit for that contract then too, right? So
Yeah.
that's the hardest part with PPC. Could look like a great return on ad spend,
Yeah.
but if you really boil it down, sometimes it's, oh, I got your postcard and I Googled you, so you gotta
Yeah.
kind of make sure they're asking so you can attribute it to
Okay.
all the marketing channels. That's
Um,
just what we found.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Are you guys self-managing? Did you create a management company? How are you guys handling all these units, right?
Yeah, we self-manage everything, so which is a lot of fun. But that's probably, I mean, one of the most difficult things that I've done, I would say, is managing. But yeah, we manage everything. We have a head PM and 4 admins, and we have 5 maintenance guys, and we do all our own turn.
Wow.
Um, I got burned by third-party management a few times, and I'm just like, I can't do it again. And with how big we are, I think if I got my off the ball with third-party management, it would just blow up pretty quick. So
For sure.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I've always done it. And I actually went to, I don't know if you know who Logan Rakin is. I went to his
Yeah.
stuff and have talked to him about it in lengths. And to be honest, I think that's the only way if you want to get big, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Logan and I are good friends, and he's such a unicorn. I've been trying to get him on the podcast, but he's so focused on his time and his energy. He's tough, even for a good friend like me. He won't pop on the podcast without me scheduling it like a year in advance, probably. Yeah,
Yeah, time with him. And he's definitely a unicorn. So I agree
he
there.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the breaking point for you guys, Ryan? Was there a unit count? I know you said the third party management, but was there also kind of this climax that happened where you got to a certain amount of units and it became hard to manage the manager, or was it just what was that
We were
time?
kind of like half managing it ourselves. And then we had some units like a trailer park and some other things we had a management company doing that me and another partner owned. And it wasn't like they were like dropping the ball, but I think the hardest part is like there'd just be a lot of dollars that I know we could have gotten by us doing it ourselves. But so there was
Mhm.
a climax moment. I think having the experience in like the assisted living with all the employees and all the customers, like I knew that I could probably do a decent job at it. Maybe not Logan Ray
Yeah.
level, but um, yeah, it wasn't really a climax moment to be honest. But I think knowing what I know now, I think that's the only way if you want to own this many units, especially in the environment we have with what stuff is priced at. So
Right. Yeah. It's like that's the one factor that we run into with growth, right? I'm actually hiring right now a commercial acquisitions agent. So we have an ad out for it right now to kind of grow that portfolio again and start getting back into some multifamily acquisitions. But it is tough because you got to run your expense ratios higher and all this other stuff when you're competing against guys like you or Logan who are self-managing. Your
yep,
expense ratios can be quite a bit lower, and that helps obviously drive up your NOI, but also can help you drive up that offer price. It's the same thing we talk about with people in the single family or smaller space. It's like if you're using hard money to buy your properties, it's awesome. It's a
yep,
great place to start if you can get deals, but you're going to miss out on deals because you can't be competitive enough on your offer because your financing cost is going to be too high. And this is where we talk about getting community banks or private money going. That's a
yep,
better option, right?
yep, yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, our community bank, I mean, I would say is probably just, I mean, we can close in like 5 to 7 days.
With a community bank?
Oh yeah, 5 to 7 days. Yeah, I mean, there's some things that are like community banks. At least the one we have, I don't want to necessarily shout them out. It's unbelievable some of the stuff they will do, like fund the whole construction up to 85%, like on the purchase. So I mean, we're sending text messages with photos of completion, no escrow company, none of that stuff. I mean, it's pretty awesome once you can.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's amazing. That's like the best part. You were talking about partnerships, and I'm like, man, that sounds to me like the best partnership I've heard of yet is that
oh,
community bank right there.
oh, the best. Yeah, I mean, I've had hard money lenders reach out to me a million times. I'm like, you don't understand. Like, I already have one, but it's a bank. So yeah,
Yeah. And you can't compete with that, buddy.
no,
For sure. For sure. That's incredible, man. You talked a lot about, you guys do a lot of partnerships, it sounds like, Ryan. Whether that's somebody bringing you a deal or you have a couple, it sounds like within a couple of the different businesses that you're running, you've got different partners in there. How do you manage all the partner relationships? Talk a little bit about that, because I know this is one of the things I hear from people who are starting out a lot is they say, well, I'm just gonna get a partner and we'll split it 50-50. And sometimes my advice is like, that might not be the best thing, because especially in the long-term game, that can end really ugly, and nobody likes to talk about how it's going to end. It's going to end at some point. Somebody's going to die. Somebody's going to
Yeah.
want out. So at some point it ends. So like nobody wants to talk about that up front, and that ends up leading to problems later. How are you setting these up on the front end? How are you managing these partner relationships? How does all that go down?
Yeah, no, I mean, for the most part, I've taken on probably too many, but I haven't had many blow up yet. So I wouldn't say
Okay.
I'm expert at it. I think a lot of it is just talking about stuff and getting it on paper in your operating agreement, kind of like what the expectations are from the two roles. But for the most part, all my partnerships besides one are all in real estate. And the biggest thing is we manage all the property, and that's kind of how it works. We get a percentage, 7% on all the stuff we manage. It's all ran one way. There's like, we have 9 different owners that we manage for, and they're all, some of them are 50-50 with me. And the biggest thing is we run it our way. So like, we're not going to call them because you want your property ran this way or that way. It is what it is. A lot of them, I guess on that end, the main reason I partnered at the beginning was either I didn't have the capital to buy something, or they had a really good deal that I wanted to be a part of. So, but there were people that I was already working with for the most part. I have 2 partners on stable living, which is the operating business, the assisted living business, that I'm partners with real estate, and that business we work pretty well together. I think I started that, and they kind of came on later. So, uh,
Okay.
and they worked for me. So it's always went well. But to be honest, I don't know what the answer is to that, because I think a lot of people also like, they're very stringent on what they want, and I'm willing to bend as long as it makes sense. So
Sure.
and sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good stuff. I had one same thing. A guy brought me a multifamily a few years ago, and he wanted to be, for his compensation, he wanted to be like a minority owner in the deal. And that was the same thing up front. I just said, hey, look, happy to do that with you. Like, love it. Let's do a deal together. But like, you get no say.
Yeah.
So you'll get a K1 every year, and that's about it. Other
Yeah.
than that, I'll run it and I'll do the best I can for it, and we'll try to make as much money as we can on this deal. But
Yeah.
ultimately, I don't need to be having somebody coming in and telling me
Yeah.
how to run it.
Yeah. I think buy sell agreements too. And just like, if somebody wants to sell, how does that look? That type of stuff is huge. But I mean, yeah, for the most part, I would say management wise, and that's where the majority of the partnerships are. Like, it's all set up that we are managed by this company. This is how it looks. So I think,
Cool.
but yeah, but
Do you know roughly, Ryan, like your cost to manage is, like your percentage wise?
less than 7%. Right now we're around, I would say 6%. Yeah. So we're
Okay.
not saving a ton. The hard part for us is I would say more affordable housing, C class apartments for the most part. So our rents are lower. Well, to operate a C apartment or operate a B plus apartments, it's kind of the same. So I think that's a big,
Got it.
that, I mean, I didn't really think about either. So, but
That's a really good point. I've never thought of that factor either. As you talk about it, I'm like, you know what? That's true. It's a percentage based thing, but you're going to get higher rents on a higher class property with
yeah,
probably less problems and less management.
100%. Yeah, I think that's the hard part about the percentage game. Sometimes it's like, well, if you're running a D class place and you're going off a percentage, you're kind of getting screwed. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah. But if you're outsourcing it, maybe not as bad for you as the investor, right? But if you're trying to do it in-house, then you're getting screwed.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. For sure. What would you say to somebody out there, Ryan, that is trying to get into multifamily game? Because I know by us, it's tough sledding
yeah,
finding any kind of deals that make sense right now with where interest rates are at and all that other kind of stuff. And I know we used to run a mastermind ourselves, a small group. I think we had like 10 different businesses in it that we let into the mastermind group. And I remember specifically there was this couple, they were doing great. They were picking up base hits on single families, duplexes, triplexes,
yeah,
either burning them or flipping them for cash, and building up a nice little portfolio. And then they got sidetracked with multifamily, and it threw them completely off, stopped all their momentum. And then
yeah.
I don't even know if they've bought anything in the last few years now, because they just kind of went off the rails there. And I don't want to see that happen to other people that listen to this episode where they're like, going for the elephants now, right? I want to be like Ryan Gray. How do I
Yeah.
get there this quickly, right? Like, what would you say to somebody who's trying to get that first one right now?
I mean, I think you do the same stuff you're doing with single family, the triplexes. I mean, same kind of strategies to find them. I think the biggest thing is being prepared to close them when you get the opportunity. Just having the right strategies in your toolbox for like how to offer a second mortgage or carry back or owner finance, or if you got to put 20% down, having that money and be ready to like go. Because I think a lot of big sellers, they can kind of feel out if you're not ready to buy something that big.
Mhm.
And honestly, I think a couple of my times I wasn't probably ready, but I figured it out. So I think that's the big thing. I mean, the thing about us, like I'll still buy a single family house and keep it as a rental or flip it. I mean, I'll try to land a 90 unit. Like it doesn't really, to me, a good deal is a good deal. I know a lot of people are like have a literal strict buy box. To
Yep.
me, or do I know it's way undervalued and I can cash flow, to be honest.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm different that way. So you just bring me a
Yep.
Flex in Eau Claire from Wisconsin discount properties, I probably would buy it. So
Nice. That's awesome. Well, I'm gonna start trying to get some deals out there, Ryan, so I can start selling you some stuff, man.
yeah, there's not many good wholesalers here. So I think that's a
All
big
right.
advantageous thing about us too is like there's not much competition, but also there's a lot less units. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. We get I think Eau Claire's probably similar to Oshkosh, college town, similar population size, I would guess, something like similar to that. And there's deals there, but they're fewer
Yeah.
deals for sure than what
Yeah,
we
you don't have people spending tens of thousands of dollars trying to find them. So that's the nice thing. But
yeah, yeah, for sure. Are there any multifamily deals left in Eau Claire? Because I think it sounds like you bought them all,
oh
right?
yeah, there's a lot. There's a ton. There's a ton. Honestly, most of my units I would say are in the rural towns too, like around Eau Claire. So like a lot of the stuff in Eau Claire
Okay.
pricing is, I mean, even for a B class kind of cruddy apartments, 100, 110,000 in an apartment. And it's just like, well, that doesn't,
Oh,
so yeah, but
yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. You and I are very similar though. It sounds like Ryan as we talk. I'm the same way. I just bought a mobile home on
yeah,
like an acre of land, and I think it was a fantastic deal. I bought it for 50. I put 5,000 into it, and I got it rented for 1,300.
home
Like
run.
that's a
Yeah.
home run deal. And we had it out to our buyers list. Everybody on our buyers list passed on it. So that's how I typically buy my deals. Is it's like when everybody passes on the deal, then I'm like, well, fine, I'll buy it if nobody else wants it, you know. So I usually put it out to the buyers list first. But that was an interesting one that I like to give people FOMO on. But then I'm the same as you. I'm like, okay, I also would like, 100 units right now.
Yeah.
So, but I
Yeah.
don't care. I bought a duplex, upper lower duplex this year. Same thing. It was
Yeah.
great deal. Picked it up. Gonna
Yeah.
gonna keep it, kind of a thing. So very similar. I think that's an important point out there for people. It's for me, and maybe you can talk about this, Ryan. The why behind it for me is I just want to build long-term wealth and cash flow. I don't
Yeah.
care how I get there. The how to me doesn't matter. It's more about the big vision. Are you similar in that aspect, or what? How did you kind of formulate the same philosophy? It sounds like that we both have.
I definitely enjoy like buying, selling, managing. I think it's all kind of fun, but for the most part, it's a numbers on a spreadsheet game, in my opinion. Like I care that my properties are quality and people want to live there, but for the most part,
Mhm.
I don't care what neighborhood they're in. I mean, they could be in the middle of nowhere as long as it's doing its job. Like I just don't. That's not what it's about, in my opinion. So
Yep.
a lot of people get stuck on like, well, I want a side by side duplex that looks like this, that fits this. Like, well, Ebbs, if it's an upper lower and it makes more money.
Exactly.
I don't know, So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually going to take this clip, Ryan, and I'm going to have Reese from our team listen to this, and he's going to laugh right now because I'm giving him a shout out. But he
yeah,
loves side by side duplexes, and I've been trying to convince him like upper lowers are great too, and they appreciate too. His biggest thing is he thinks side by sides are going to appreciate way more. I've actually seen our upper lower duplexes probably appreciate at a higher rate because they're more affordable.
yeah.
And so that number just keeps climbing, and it's almost like, but it's like getting really close to some of the, I would
I
say,
will.
older side by sides.
Well, to me, a side by side's appreciated a ton in the last 5 years, like way too much. So can they?
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe, but
Right.
me, I don't. I mean, I haven't bought a side by side in a couple of years because I'm like, how this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty much all owner occupied house hackers now that can
yeah,
buy those.
when you can
That's,
build it, prices you can buy it. Why wouldn't you build it? Right?
yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. What does the future look like, Ryan? So you guys are at a pretty awesome point. You've grown really fast. Is it now stabilize what you've got? Is it continue to grow at a certain number? What does that look like for you guys?
No, I don't have like a number in my head or anything like that. I'm enjoying the process right now. I would say our big goals right now is to get into the property management more and try to systemize it more, make it more self-running. We have somebody that manages it and runs it for us, but I can't leave for a month and be excited about coming back and how things are going. So I think that's the biggest thing. But stable living, maybe a group home or two a year, so not big, massive growth, and then multifamily, just whatever comes across the table that I can take down for the most part, not trying to double or anything. So just whatever
Nice.
best. But
That's awesome, man. That's
yeah,
awesome. What is the why behind it for you, Ryan? What keeps you moving besides just the fun of it?
yeah. I mean, I have two kids and stuff that I care about and want to spend more time with, but I don't know if that's the right answer. Honestly, I would say I enjoy business. I enjoy coming to work every day. Um, I do work hard, I would say, when I'm at work, but I'm very much at 8 a.m. to 4:30. I go home, I'm done. I'm not going to continue to, work 50, 60-hour weeks anymore. I will take phone calls after work too much, but for the most part, to me, like if you're at work, why not give it your all while you're here?
Hmm.
If you're going to come in,
Hmm.
why not give it everything you got? So
Yep.
that's my thing. Once I'm done with the office, I don't, I want to go enjoy life and vacation,
Yeah.
go to Europe more and do all that stuff. So
That's awesome, man.
yeah.
Europe? Did you say Europe you'd like to go to?
I've been to Europe a few times, and to be honest, if I could, I'd probably live there all summer. So yeah, I
Nice.
love it. But
Yeah, that's awesome. We've been to France and Italy, and both those places were great.
I love Italy.
So
Italy's my favorite. So
yeah, awesome, man. That's cool. Go back. I want to go back before we wrap, Ryan, just to talk more about the commercial bank relationships that you had. Are
yep.
there any keys that you found, like when you were starting out, to start those relationships? Was there credibility that you had to build? What was it that got the relationships going that seemed to open up Pandora's box for you here a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know if I have the answer, but I mean, at the beginning, the bank that I work with the most actually approached us, and they were from a smaller town, and they came to Eau Claire, and they're like, "Hey, we want to grow with you. We're trying to meet more young investors to grow with." I don't know if that's the right answer. But I would say trying to find banks that have a smaller lending limit, I would say, is a big thing, and trying to get in with those banks. The smaller, the better. Somebody that where you can walk in and meet the president the next day and just talk to them and meet them, and not necessarily be their friend, but build a true relationship. I think, especially when you're starting out, is just massive. I think a big thing with us that got us the Pandora's box or whatever was having business experience beforehand, having a thriving that was cash flowing. I think helped us a lot. I think trying to do all the things we would have done without that probably wouldn't have happened. Uh,
Hmm.
but I would say I think big thing is doing what you say you're going to do. I think we always kind of said what we were going to do. Like our goal is to buy 100 units in the next couple of years.
Hmm.
And kind of explained it out. So I would say another thing. I mean, this is a rake-in thing, but having like really good financials and being really organized, like with what you're giving them, having your 3 years of tax returns, your PFS, your debt schedule, all that stuff when you walk in a bank makes you
Hmm.
credible. And most investors, I would say, are super disorganized and cowboy everything. So they walk in and they're like, I want to get approved. And they ask for a bunch of stuff. Then it takes them 3 months to get it to them. Like if you walk in and you're like, here's my book with all my units and what I'm doing and my goals and my family, like you're going to get a different experience, in my opinion.
100%, Ryan. And I'm as guilty as I am, I'm not as good at keeping up with my stuff until the bank asks for it. But then as soon as they ask for it, I'm like, I just had to get a PFS over to a banker yesterday who we're working on a nice little line of credit with. So like,
Yeah.
okay, I need the PFS, I need your rent rolls, and I need your debt schedule. So I had my assistant pull all the rent rolls. I was started getting back on the PFS to get all that stuff like up to date and organized. And I usually do it once a quarter at least, but I was a couple months behind. And then debt schedules over to them, and it's just super easy. And they appreciate that speed of like
Yep.
they don't have to chase you down for it or hunt you down or remind you. It's like, again, think about the power, Ryan, that you unlocked with these relationships and like how much wealth you've built in 7 years. It's
Yeah.
incredible, dude, like to how much you've built. And it's because you're treated like a business.
Yeah.
If you're an amateur hour out there, you're going to be doing base hits for the rest of your life. You got to treat it like a business and put the big boy pants on, so to speak, and
Yeah.
present yourself like you're presenting like a business, like you're trying to you're it's a business plan that you're essentially giving the bank,
Yeah.
right?
I appreciate it. Yeah. I think, I mean, that's huge. I mean, it didn't start that way, but I think, learning from mistakes, and when they're asking for you that stuff, like, be ready to go. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, but I mean, I think the action part is more important than all that stuff, because you can figure that out later. But if someone's telling you to do it, do it.
Yeah.
Be ready.
Yeah. Well, it's like what you're saying. It's just like you don't have to sit here before you go get a deal under
Yeah.
your belt and create a PFS, which is a personal financial statement. If you're not familiar with what that is, that's every bank's going to ask you for that. It's basically you list out all of your assets against
Yeah.
all your liabilities, and it shows your net worth. And so the bank kind of gets an idea of how bankable you are at this point. And then the debt schedule, what Ryan's talking about is like, who do you owe and what's your monthly payments? And you kind of spell all that out on a little sheet for them so they can kind of get a grasp of your whole
Yeah.
global picture of what you got going on. But you don't have to necessarily sit and create that, especially if you're just starting out. You probably don't have much to put on there anyway. It's going to take you 2 hours, maybe max, to put something
Yeah.
like that together. So just go take action and go get a freaking deal.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of them too. Hey, you want to go get coffee and stuff? They'll do that type of stuff too, and meet them and talk to them. I think connecting with them is huge. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep, for sure, for sure. Before we wrap, Ryan, any last word that you would have for the Wisconsin investor audience out here from anything that you've learned in these last 7 years and in your years previous to that in business?
Yeah, no, not really. I would say the biggest thing is get into Wisco REIA, get into those groups, because I think those, I mean, you can do it on your own, but I think when you have people there that are willing to help you and meet with you, and a lot of them are so open, they'll have coffee with you and talk your ear off. So just go do it. I think that's kind of the life changing thing. And then just take action, surround yourself with good people. So,
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. I think the networking piece too, you mentioned one of the things, some places I've learned in Wisconsin or some of these groups, they're not as open as like, sounds like what you guys are out in Eau Claire, what Northeast Wisconsin investors are. We're very open. Like we all had somebody help us
oh, yeah.
start. And so I think we all feel, and that's why we do the Burr for Beginners course now for free. It's just a give back. It's like, hey, go learn this stuff. And if we can help you, great. But I'm sure at some point we'll do a deal with you. If we don't, that's fine too. It's not a go do it so that we get a deal out of it. It's just a give back. Like somebody helped me learn this stuff and it helped me tremendously and help my family. I want
Yeah.
to be able to offer that back to people locally that can do the
Yeah.
same thing. And the networking side of things for the audience out there, what Ryan's talking about, Wisco REIA, they have multiple locations throughout the state. They also have a lot of Facebook groups too for each location. So that's another great place to connect online with people. There's a lot of great discussions that happen in these groups and people who have questions. And you can just search in the group. If you have a question, you can probably search in one of these groups and they'll find it. We also run one called the REI Success Group
Yeah.
or Success Club. It's on Facebook, and then you can come to the events for that. It's the fourth Tuesday of every month in Green Bay. So come on out. I think this month, I don't know when this will drop necessarily, Ryan, but if this drops before the next one, we have it talking about AI and investing
Yeah.
coming up. So that'll be a good one. We change the topic every month, obviously, like all the groups do, but get involved in these groups like Ryan's talking about, guys. And that's build your network up, whether that's lenders you're looking for, whether that's, just a handyman you need, whatever the case is, it's in the group.
Yeah.
Somebody's already got it. So go get it. Ryan, last question. We always wrap with this, kind of a fun one. What is your favorite Wisconsin tradition or place to visit in Wisconsin?
Oof, that's tough. I mean, for me, I go camping at O'Neill Creek, so that'd be my top spot. But I would say Hayward, Wisconsin,
Mhm.
and Hayward. Actually, we're going September 10th through the 12th. We're going. We have a retreat that's through Wisco REIA. So if anybody wanted to do this, honestly, they could. But we're going out on a cabin and doing some real estate stuff, and then musky fish and hang out in the lake,
Ooh,
all that stuff. So I would say that's probably my favorite place in Wisconsin. So
dude, I love that area. Yeah, Hayward, Minocqua, Eagle River, that whole
yeah,
northern Wisconsin. Well, Ryan, if you have a link for that or anything, feel free to shoot it over. We'll get it in the show notes as well for the
yeah.
audience. So if you want us to put that in, we're happy to do so. If anybody wants to connect with you, Ryan, or has questions or has a deal for you that they want to talk about partnering with you on, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Yeah, just Ryan Gray, Gray on Facebook, or 715homebuyerslLC.com. If you guys have a deal, and shoot it over. But Facebook, Instagram, they're the two I do use. So, yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, and everybody, thanks for tuning in. Again, if you guys got some value out of this episode, please share it on whatever socials you guys have. help us continue to get the word out about investing here in Wisconsin, get some other people in here. It's that ripple effect, right? Somebody else could hear this episode, and this could be the absolute thing that changes their life for the future. It also can help you as well, as we talk about on every episode. If you're sharing this, you're going to let people in your network know that you're into real estate investing, and you're going to attract lenders, you're going to attract contractors, you're going to attract employees if you're hiring, all these different deals, like what Ryan's talking about. You're going to get some deal flow from it. So share the episode, help yourself, help us. And until then, guys, we'll see you on the next episode.